Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. Now you may remember in my last video I made this little lovely. It's a desk organiser, little drawers that come out. Oops. And it also stands up as an easel with a calendar on it. I don't know why I just went like that. I mean, I'm just going to show the wall. There you go. Let's make it round that way. That's much better, isn't it? So what I'm going to do today is show you how to make a box, a gift box, to put this in. Now this actual base of this measures 4 3/4 by 4 3/4, but because I've put the rose on and the leaves, and where the leaves poke out a bit, it's actually taken it out to measure just under 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. So that's how big the box is going to be. Now to start off with, we're going to do the base, and I've got some cardstock here, just plain Whisper White cardstock for the moment, that measures 10 3/4 by 10 3/4, and I've scored it at 1 inch, 2 3/4, 8 and 9 3/4, and then I turned it 90 degrees and do exactly the same again. So 1 inch, 1 3/4, 8 inches, 9 3/4. I then have a second piece of card, and this one measures just a smudge under 10 7/8. So it's not quite 10 7/8, just a tiny bit under, because this is going to be the lid, and this obviously needs to be able to fit over the base. So scoring this one slightly differently. So I've still done it at 1 and 2 3/4, but instead of then going to 8 and 9 3/4, I've actually turned it. Okay, so you score at 1, you score at 2 3/4, and then you turn it, and then you score it again at 1 and 2 3/4, and then you turn it, and you do it again at 1 and 2 3/4. And the reason you do that is because that tiny smudge of a difference in the sizes between the lid and the base will then fall in this center square, so it will actually make your lid able to fit on your base. Okay, right, so that's all our scoring done. Let's just smooth that. Oh, there you go. There's my standard whack the tripod as we move the scoreboard out of the way. Grab our bone folder, and we need to fold and burnish all of these score lines. Now the Whisper White cardstock for the 12 by 12 is not the thick one. Oh, I missed one then, didn't I? Missed that one. The 12 by 12 thick cardstock unfortunately only comes in A4 in the UK. So this one isn't quite as thick, but it doesn't matter because we're going to decorate the box as well, and by the time we finish decorating it, it will be plenty strong enough. Right, there we go. Hopefully you can see those score lines much better now. Right, grab your scissors. Now I'm going to try and keep this so that it's easy for you to see. So to begin with, I'm just going to cut just down to that first score line. Now the reason I'm doing that is so that you can see, as I work my way round, you'll see the shape as it develops, because I appreciate making boxes is not always the easiest thing to do. In fact, it took me ages to get my boxes right. I know that might sound a bit silly, but anybody who's made boxes in the past will understand what I mean by that. So I just need to get a bigger pair of scissors, because now I want to cut off those bits. All right, let's Let's just get rid of those. You could do this all in one go if you wanted to. There's no reason to say you can't, but this is for especially those people who are just starting out making boxes, oops, and need to see what's going on, because I think once you've seen how it actually goes, the stages of cutting, sometimes it can actually make making the final thing a bit easier anyway, can't it? Right, so this is our start off. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to cut into that corner itself. Why did I just change scissors there? That was stupid, wasn't it? So this is where, like I was just saying, you could just do it all in one go if you were happy that you knew exactly how you were going, but just so that you've got it in steps, I'm doing it like this for you today. Now when you do your corners, do your flaps rather, make sure you always put a notch in your flap, just a small one. It just makes the fitting of the box a better shape. Now because we've also got this extra flap, I'm going to put a notch up here as well at the top. Whoops. Do you know what? I could actually make it so that it looks like a notch as well, couldn't I? There you go. Ta-da! That's better. And I'm going to put a notch, just a slight one, on these as well. Alright, because all of it is going to help our box to fold up nice and neatly without too many bulgy bits. So we need to do this all the way round. Do you know what? I'm just going to snip that bit off there as well, because that's a little bit big, isn't it, that tab? You could leave it if you wanted to, I suppose. It's not going to make a huge amount of difference, but no, I don't know where I was. Where was I up to? Well, that bit. That's what I hadn't done. I hadn't done my little notches. Oops, nearly finished. There we go. Right, now one of the golden rules of box making: use wet glue. Wet glue is always better for a box. In wet glue there are fibres. Any sort of acrylic glue has fibres in it, and when you use wet glue it soaks into your card. Now being paper based, obviously as card is, it's made up of fibres, and those fibres all mesh together inside the card, and it actually makes a nice strong solid box. Alright, so I would always say, when you're making boxes, use a wet glue. Now you could obviously, if you wanted to, use a very strong double-sided tape, which is generally okay. I'm not saying it's not, because most of the time, yes, it is okay, but with double-sided tape, once it's stuck, it's stuck. You don't have any wiggle room. And it's always useful having a bit of wiggle room so that you can get these edges lined up nicely. It makes a big difference. Now, I also like to just stick the bone folder. Can you see what I'm doing in there? Just stick it in there and just run it along that outer edge, just to make sure it's nicely stuck. And it also helps to push the glue right out to the corner as well. Right, let's just do this end, and then I will show you where those flaps are going to go. Whoopsie daisy. You shot glue everywhere then. Right, so let's just pop that one down. And that one. Again, just give it a push down inside. It's much easier with a bone folder because obviously your finger doesn't go to a point. So trying to get into that little corner can be a bit tricky. Just wipe off any excess glue. Oh dear, I've got some on paper now, the grid paper. I have to be careful with that. Right into that corner. That's it. I don't advise you do this. If you do this on a project, you can guarantee you're going to rip your paper up. Fortunately, that was still pretty wet and I was okay. But please don't do it, because if you end up busting all your lovely projects, don't come crying to me about it. Right. Now, these, as I was just doing there, are going to be folding in like that. Alright, and that not only is going to give us a nice edge on our box, but it is also going to help to strengthen the box sides. Okay, so again, with some more glue, let's move that one out of the way. Just pop some glue around that edge and just fold it in there like that. Just hold it for a second or two. This glue does actually stick very quickly, so you don't have to sit there for hours holding it. I'm sure everyone's got time to sit there for hours holding their glue. Yeah, right here. Now, when we've done this one, we're going to do exactly the same on the top. There you go. See? One nice box. Whoops, a bit more glue on my fingers. Right. Just stick that down properly. That's it. Okay, I'm just going to stop the video for a minute because I'm sure you don't really need to see me making a second one, as I've just shown you how to do it on that one. Let's just clean that into that glue up. That's it. So I'm just going to stop the video and I'll be back in just a sec. Right, I've done that bit. Oh. So we now have a base and a lid. Now what I'm going to do is just make some like thumb holes on this lid. Now I've got one of the old, what's this shape? It's an oval. One of the old oval shape punches, and this is a small one, but unfortunately this one isn't available anymore, but there is the next size up which works just as well, or you can even use a circle punch. It's entirely up to you. But what I've done on my punch, I've actually put the centre lines on it, so that when I do my boxes, as I am doing now, I know exactly where my centre line is and I can centre it on the side of my box properly. So it measures 5 1/4, so I want to mark it at, oops, 2 5/8, don't I? 1/2, there we go, 2 5/8. Should I do it all the way around, or should I just do it on two sides? Oh, I might as well do it all the way around, mightn't I? I don't know what way it's going to be opened. So cover all bases, we'll do it all the way around. Right, Now, I know I just said it was 5 1/4. It's not actually 5 1/4. It's slightly bigger than 5 1/4. Because do you remember when we actually cut this card for the lid, we made it a tiny bit bigger? So when you mark your centre line for making holes, making your thumb holes, just make sure you have actually got it in the centre. Otherwise, you're going to end up with off-centered thumb holes. 2 5/8 I said, didn't I? Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Yeah, of course it is. 2 5/8 and just a smudge, which means I think this one I've put in the wrong place. Did I put that in the wrong place? Oh, I didn't. Oh, wakey, wakey, rise and shine. 2 5/8. There we go. So all I do is I line up my centre for that one and for that one and punch my hole. And then I know, oops, let's get it in the camera so you can see it. See, because I've got my centre and my lines going across. Hey, I've fired that at myself. I'll do it again now. So right in the middle there. Perfect. I would say, just to forewarn you, if you aren't using Whisper White cardstock, if you're using one of the coloured cardstocks, they are marginally thicker or a slightly heavier weight. Please be careful with your punches, because if you try and punch through card that's too thick for your punch to cope with, you will break your punch. And they are fantastic quality, the Stampin' Up punches, but they aren't completely bulletproof. Where's my rubber? Just want to rub that little mark off. And then we're going to use the end of the pencil. So if you, oh, that's a rubbish rubber, isn't it? Look at that, what a mess. Let's use a proper rubber. Just want to reach over there and grab a proper one. Yeah, if you do punch through card that's too thick, you will break your punch. So please be very careful with them. They're absolutely fine for single layer punching, obviously. But watch yourselves if you're going to do double layer punching. Right, there we go. Right, so there's our box lid. Now, because we have used glue, another benefit of using wet glue when you make a box lid is, as you probably know, when you make paper or card wet, it expands slightly, which is great, because if you make your boxes out of wet glue, oops, that's it, put them together like that while they dry and leave them overnight, the actual card will fit perfectly around itself, because any shrinkage will be taken into account as it starts to reduce after it's expanded, where it's actually absorbed some of the glue. See, how's that? Perfect box. Do you know, I didn't actually think to see if it fits. That could have been fun, couldn't it? Yeah, look, I've made a perfect box and it doesn't actually fit what I want to go in it. Oh, good job it does, really, isn't it? Otherwise I would have been stuck. Right, now I'm going to decorate it. So to begin with, I'm going to put some crumb cake on the top there. So there you go. Remember I said it was just over, so marginally over. So I'm going to cut my crumb cake to begin with. I'm going to do it, let's bring my trimmer in, 5 by 5. Now I have actually got some here. I don't know how wide this is though. How wide's that? Oh, it's not quite wide enough. Hang on, let me just get another bit. I'm just getting some out of the drawer. Hold on. I shall be back. Right, so I'm going to do this. Whoops, move that out of the way. Oh look, the sun's coming out. Super duper. So let's go 5. Smooth that over there. 5. So that's going to be the base bit. Should I decorate the sides as well? not sure. Or shall I? Shall I? Oh, that was my tummy rumbling. Sorry if you heard that. No, I don't think so. I think I'll just leave it like that and just decorate the top. Yeah, that'll be nice. Right, so crumb cake, 5 by 5. I then want, how big's that piece? A bit of my English Garden Design Series paper. That's 4 by 4. Yeah, I'll use that. And I'll put that on there. But I want something under there. I know. I will use some of that spotty one. Is that going to be big enough? No, I need to get some more out. I'll give you a tour of my craft room one day and you can see why I'm always saying, oh, I can't find this and I can't find that. It's quite small, but it has an awful lot of things packed into it. Oh, no, that's a stripy one. What's that? That's flowery. I'll get there in a minute. Hang on. Hang on, I will find some. Oh no, it doesn't look like I've got a big enough piece. Oh, I can't see what I'm doing over there. Let's get it all out and have a look instead. No, I haven't got a bit that's big enough. Oh, that's a nuisance, isn't it? I suppose I could use the flowers. Or would that be a bit too flowery? And I used that on the inside of the drawer, didn't I? What do you think if I put that on? It doesn't look quite look so good there, does it? And it doesn't match that either. No, you know what? I'm just going to cut a bigger piece of the Pretty Rose for that Designer Series paper. What's that bit over there? Aha! How big's that piece? No, that's not big enough either. I was doing another project with it the other day. That's why there's so much of it spread around my desk. I do put things away, honestly. Right, there we go. Let's have another bit. Okay, so how big did I say it needs to be? I can't remember now. That's the bit that we're going to use, isn't it? Right, so that measures 5 by 5. So the bit that's going to go on top, I'm going to do 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. I might as well cut that side as I've already started it. So, whoops, 4 3/4 by, oh, so just turn that a little bit off. There we go. By 4 3/4. There we go. That's it. So I'm going to put, we'll have that on there, we'll have that on there. That's nice, I like that. And then where'd I put glue, where are you? Right next to me. Right. Now the lid wasn't double thickness when we made it just now, it was just single thickness. So having this extra bit on, this extra bit of crumb cake on it, is actually going to make it a bit thicker, a bit more sturdy. But obviously the base still isn't, which to be honest I'm not really that bothered about, because the desk tidy is going to be in there, the little desk calendar. What should I call it actually? A desk calendar or a desk tidy? Not quite sure. I think it's a desk calendar, isn't it? More than a desk tidy. There we go, that works. Right. Oops, glue my finger. Stick that down. sure that's stuck properly. Yeah. Right, so I'm going to pop that back on there so it can finish drying off. Did you see how much easier it went on there straight away? That's because it's starting to dry and it's sort of forming around itself now already. Right, look at them bees. Aren't they cute? I like those bees. Let's get this stuck on then. Where's... there we go. Let's get some snail on it. You could use fast fuse, I suppose, for this if you've got some. Personally, fast fuse doesn't like me. And I don't like it, if I'm really honest. I probably shouldn't say that, actually, should I? But, well, can't hide it. I don't like it. I end up just getting in a big old mess with it. Which is a bit of a nuisance, really, because it is absolutely fantastic stuff. But you sort of have to learn how to use it, I suppose. And do you know what? I'm not going to stick this one on yet. I've just thought I'm going to put... Because I put the bow on this one, I think I'll put a bow. Should I put a bow on here as well? And I could put it around. I've already got another rose. Look, I've done that to go on it already. I thought I'd put a pretty rose on there. That can sit. Give it a bit more of a 3D effect. A bit more dimension. No, I won't. I'll just put that on there. Otherwise it'll end up, that will be looking the same as the inside then, won't it? Right, stick that on there. Actually, let me just take that out again because I don't want to push on it too hard. Whoops, doesn't want to come out now, does it? That's because it went on so easily. But I don't want to push on it too hard because it's still drying. And being wet is a bit fragile. That's better. Oh, shall I see if it fits? Actually, no, I won't because it's wet. No, no, slow down, slow down. Right, let's put this on. Put my pretty rose on. There we go. That's it. Fab. Right, I'm going to put that back together. Look, the sun's come out. That's nice, isn't it? Right, for my tag, I'm actually going to use a butterfly, which I've cut out using one of the butterfly framelits dies. That's what it's called. And I'm going to just stamp on it with the watercolour wings, but the only one I'm actually going to use is this one. Yeah, I'm just going to use that one for now. You'll see why in just a sec. Right, there's the stamp. Find the stamp. I've already mounted it on a block. Now I'm going to stamp it with soft saffron because I don't know if you noticed in the middle of these lovely pink roses there is like a yellow centre. That yellow is actually Hello Honey, which is one of the coordinating stamp colours for the English Garden Designer Series paper. So I'm going to do a yellow butterfly, but I want to be able to write something in the middle. Well, actually I'm going to stamp something in the middle. Where's my stamping mat gone? Oh, when you're doing stamping with photopolymer stamps, always stamp onto foam. You get a much clearer image if you stamp on the foam. And I would usually say to stamp first then cut, but I actually needed to cut it out because I'm not putting the outline stamp on. You see this one in the set, this sort of creates an outline for you to follow with your dies. Because I'm only using this one which goes straight into the middle, I haven't got an outline to follow, hence I have cut myself an outline. Right, now I need to just line that up. Ta-da. There we go. Now the So Saffron starts off, it looks quite dark, but once that's dried, it's a lovely pale yellow, very, very pale. Now, with, whoops, I just had to grab my ink dobber. Round the edge, I'm going to use my Hello Honey. Just move that out of the way, because this is going to give me the outline, which will sort of contrast a bit more with that, otherwise you've got white on white. So just to give it a bit of an edge, I'm just going to just go around the edge of it. Now this is where it gets tricky, trying to get into those little corners with an ink dobber or a sponge. It's not easy, so shall I try it? I don't want to ruin my butterfly. Oh, just about. I also don't want to bend it too much either. Oh, look, that was lucky. Just got in there. I don't know how I'm going to get around the tail bit. Might have to leave the tail bit. Sorry, Mr. Butterfly, you might have to have a bare bottom. We don't really like bare bottoms, but hey, it can't always be helped, I suppose. Oh, hang on, I might be able to, if I just flick it in there. There you go, that's not too bad, is it? It's not perfect, but you can see it on the back a little bit. Never mind, no, I think I'll leave that because I'll end up making a mess. Let's just go around and see if I can get, I can't remember what way I bent the card. Go in there, that's it. There, can you see how where I'm going around the edge with the Hello Honey, it's just framing the butterfly, just giving it a bit more definition, which is exactly what I was hoping it was going to do. Now, how are we going to do your little head, Mr. Butterfly? Please don't bend. Oh, don't bend too much. If anybody knows how you can get your ink in there, please leave me a comment and tell me, won't you? Because I would love to know. This isn't the first time I've had this little dilemma going on, where I've tried to get ink into a tiny hole and I've not wanted it on the back. So, if anyone knows, please, as I say, leave me a comment and let me know how to do it. I will be forever grateful. I'm going to put a bit more on there to make it a bit more even. There, that's better. Can you see how that soft saffron's drying now as well? How pale it's going. Looks nice, doesn't it? Just put a bit more colour around the edge there, I think. There we go. Super duper. Right, now the other one I'm going to use, just get my dobber out of the way. I'm going to use Garden in Bloom, this stamp set, because this stamp set, just like the watercolour wings set, has got this sort of watercolour effect to it, the same as the English garden paper, so it all matches really, really well. All Stampin' Up products match well, I will point that out. Everything matches lovely, coordinates lovely, the colours all blend together really well, and when you look through the catalogue, it will always tell you in there what colours coordinate with the papers, so you don't have to sit there trying to work it out and try and match up your colours. It's all done for you. It makes life so much easier. So let's pop those two over there for a second. I'm going to use on this one that, oh, don't bend. Oh, I thought it was bending then. I'm going to use that sentiment. Friends are kind to each other's hopes and cherish each other's dreams. Isn't that nice? I really like that. Where is it? There it is. Excuse my messy stained stamps there. Let's move them out of the way. Pretend you didn't see that. Right, let me find the right size block. Will that one work? Oh, looks like there's a bit of fluff on that. Yeah, that looks okay. And I'm going to stamp it in. Going back to here. You see this dark colour? That's soft suede. So I've used crumb cake on the outside, but the darker colour is soft suede. And that's the one that I'm actually going to use to do the sentiment with. Because I want it to just sort of, I don't want it to be really glary, which is why I'm not using black, but I want it to pop just a little bit. Let's get that nicely inked up. Right, now I think, yes, I've got a bit of ink just over the edge there. Remember I said to you, cotton buds are crafter's best friend? Here's another reason for it, because you can use them just to touch up your ink, your stamping pads. Oh, there's a bit of fluff on that as well. You can use it just to touch up your stamps when you ink them up if you get too much ink on there, if you go over your edges or anything. Let me just check that. I think it's all right. Yeah, that's fine. You wait, I'll probably have ink on it now, whereas I don't want ink on it. Yeah, there is a little bit. Oh my goodness, I could have guessed that was going to happen, couldn't I? That's one of those sod's law things, isn't it? Yeah, that'll do. Right, now I want that to go just in the middle there, about there, I think. There. Smashing. Right, let's move my ink pad out of the way so that I don't do what I'm very good at, and that's dunking things in my ink pads. Move that out of the way. Now I just want to put a bit more colour on that edge, just to make it a little bit more even. The sun's shining in my eyes and I'm finding it very difficult to see at the minute. So that's why I have to keep coming back to it and moving away from it, because I'm trying to make sure it's even before I actually attach it to the box, because once it's attached to the box I'm not really going to be able to do these edges without getting ink all over my box. And that's not what's intended. There we go, that's fine, I like that. Right, now if I bring the box back in, that is going to be like that. So that will actually be my tag, and I can write on the back there. I'm not going to stick it on just yet, because obviously once I've stuck it on I won't be able to write on it. But the way I'm going to stick it on, just so you know, I'm just going to bend that wing back just a small amount, just the tip of the wing. Don't go too mad, otherwise you'll end up with half your wing lost, but just the tip of the wing. And I'm actually going to be putting a glue dot. Oops, you see those glue dots? Hang on, let me just check in the camera that you can see it. I've done this before. Can you see those glue dots? And you can't see a flipping thing. Right, can you see the size relevance between that dot and that wing? Yeah, so that's just going to be folded over and just stuck on, and it will just sit under there like that, so that when I actually give it to my friend, she'll have it just like that, and she'll be able to bend it back and see what's written on it. So there you go. There is the box to match the desk organiser. All done, all finished. Thank you for joining me once again. Anything you need, any questions or queries or comments or anything else, even if you just fancy a chat, well, as long as it's not kind of in the middle of the night, you know, it's reasonable time, that's good with me. Just drop me a line. I'll get onto my website, www.thecraftyspark.co.uk. See you soon. Bye.